Welcome to the BiGG Umbrella Podcast. That's big with 2 G's. I'm going to repeat that. That's big with 2 G's. And we back at Black Wave Studio. And we got Isaura. I hope I said that right because she's probably looking at me crazy as fuck if I didn't because we went over it how many goddamn times. So I'm going to let her introduce herself. Here we go.
Hey, it's Isaura.
I kind of fucked
You got to
it up,
put it
my
like
bad.
a little like Spanish accent, like roll the R. But
And
yeah.
I should know how to do that. I grew up in South Bay.
But yeah, Isaura.
And so are you from San Diego?
I am, yeah.
And what part of San Diego are you from?
So I was kind of like born, like raised in like, I was born like kind of like in like Adams Avenue. Like
Okay.
Like, yeah. And then
Yeah.
I kind of moved to like Emerald Hills, or no, sorry, City Heights when I was like 5. And then when I was like 8, I moved to Emerald Hills. And then I lived there until I finally moved out. But I live in La Mesa now.
Well, you said La Mesa, like you don't like La Mesa?
No, I do.
Okay.
I like La Mesa, but I was like, maybe it's not a good idea to tell people.
No, I know. This is a San Diego-based podcast, so people who watch this, they're gonna really know all the parts that you're naming off anyway. So that helps in the end. What high school did you go to? Well, actually, we could even just start from where was you at in elementary school?
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah.
Shit.
So I kind of went to a couple different elementary schools, but I went to I think it was Jones Elementary, which is like in I think Serra Mesa, Claremont area.
Okay, you out there.
Yeah, and then but I wasn't living there. Like I was getting like bused in, and then I think when I moved, I had to go to Hearst Elementary, and then I stayed at Hearst, and then I just like basically went there till I promoted, and then I went to middle school, which I went to Lewis Middle School. And then I went to go to Patrick Henry for like a semester, and then I ended up transferring to Hoover, and then I graduated from Hoover. Did
you do any sports?
I did, yeah. I actually played softball and I played soccer.
And what got you into even wanting to pursue any sports?
I've always kind of like liked to be active. I always like playing sports, and like my dad like taught me how to play sports when I was like young, so I always like sticked with it. And then I just wanted to try out for the team, and then I just ended up making like the team, and I stayed and played.
What actually got you into music?
So I kind of always was like interested in music. I was in choir, and I was in the Performing Arts Academy at my school.
Okay.
So I was basically doing like choir and like theater and like.
So you was doing a little acting?
Yeah, like a little bit, not too much. It was never like my favorite thing to do. I always like had more of an affinity to like singing, but I do enjoy acting. Just I didn't think I was as like good as I was a singer, but. Yeah, I like dancing too, but definitely don't think I'm as good as a dancer.
And what type of dances was you into?
I like hip hop, like dances. Yeah. I like any Hispanic type of dance, like bachata.
So you got the whole footwork going.
Yeah, I mean I'm not amazing, but I have like the simple steps down,
Yeah.
So.
And then you said with you starting music, like what like got you into being like this is something I think I can actually pursue.
Yeah.
Who was even like probably like some of the first people who told you like, hey, maybe you should try to actually do something with the music?
Yeah. Honestly, like my boyfriend, he's like kind of the biggest reason why I started doing music, because I honestly didn't have like the biggest support system to do that. Like, so I kind of like was pushed into doing other things, and then I ended up pursuing some other stuff for a while, and then I realized like I wasn't happy, and that I couldn't see myself doing it like forever.
You said that you didn't have the biggest support system. Was that just through music or just period?
I would say like period, just like didn't really like have a lot of like people pushing me to do it, you know. If anything, it was like quite the opposite. They were kind of like, if I was wanting to do it, they were kind of like, you shouldn't do it. Like, or I don't know if it's not like more from like a practical angle. Like, music is not typically like portrayed to be like very
the breadwinner.
Not even breadwinner, obviously, but it's risky, right? And a lot of my family were like, risky, like maybe more like stability, right? So because my family is like they're for like first gens, or like so they don't. My dad was born in Mexico, my mom was born in Vietnam, so like
oh damn,
yeah, so they're I mean my mom is Americanized, she's like half American, half she's half white, half Vietnamese, but she basically just like kind of pushed me like that that immigrant like narrative to like go to college and like go to school and like pursue higher education and be a doctor. So
I was watching some podcast and they said something like that. It was like most people in Africa, like when they're taught as a child with an education, they just taught to be a doctor or an accountant.
Oh my God, is a
damn,
podcast.
she ain't lying.
Oh my god. Oh,
Yo,
god.
she ain't lying. That shit dropped on her from the ceiling.
Yo.
No.
My stomach right now.
Okay. Before the spider just pounced on you real quick, I think we was talking about but basically your family, you coming up and then talking about what you doing, pursuing music. You said that they kind of, it was the opposite of them pushing you the other way, that's what I was talking about. It was like when I said with people in Africa, they're like with education, they kind of just taught to come up with the education and be a doctor or an accountant, something like that. That's kind of like what you were saying with your parents coming from Vietnam and things like that. So they kind of were pushing that on you to pursue that way.
Yeah. Yeah, they were supportive. Like they always were. They were never like, don't do it. But I think they just kind of like hoped that I would like stay more practical. And like I did. I understood 100% and I agreed, and I did something for a little while and then I ended up changing my mind. So, I still do. I still like work in the field and stuff, but.
And what was that you ended up pursuing that you weren't really like, oh, this is good, but this is not what I really want?
Yeah. I ended up trying to pursue like being an MD and like getting my medical license, but I ended up like just staying in like biology because usually a lot of like pre-med students will take biology as their major and then they'll basically do like all the pre-med requisites and then do all the prep for everything. Sorry, this is like so boring, but
this and honestly, this is like, because for me personally, it's like more so people already know you for your music, so you could get up here and talk about your music all day. But somebody else who's watching this that actually was pursuing that or something is like, oh well, shit, damn. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's more so that's why it covers like all fields, because you gonna touch on that as well.
Yeah.
So for you like being like it's boring, no, it was a part of your life.
Yeah, that's true actually. I guess I didn't realize that.
No, that's real.
Yeah. But so I ended up like pursuing that and then getting pushed to kind of like go to pursue a PhD.
Damn.
And then ended up applying to grad school.
That's a lot of schooling.
Well, I got accepted to a PhD program and then I was like, no, dude, I don't think this is for me.
You got accepted and then said no.
It was just like something I really thought about it and I went to the school. I'm like a firm believer in like just trusting like, the path, and I feel like sometimes a lot of my life, like I was kind of, and it's not like, I'm not trying to talk like negatively in any way, but like.
No, these are all just experience that you went through. So it's like you just speaking from what you went through. And so.
I would say like my family is supportive, but like they just kind of had like they had envisioned something for me and I did my best to like appease that. And then I just realized, like I think I should spend my life like doing what I'm passionate about and like do something that I think I can do. So
it's like I can't live for you guys.
Exactly, yeah. And so, but it's good. I'm still like I still do research and I work in industry now, so I work for like a small startup company. But yeah.
So then with the music that then transferred over, it's like, okay, I'm not really into doing the medical field anymore.
Yeah.
Then is the music what drove you to kind of go left from that?
Kind of, yeah. Like, so what happened was like, I kind of graduated during a weird time, like during COVID. I graduated during 2020, right? And so that gave me a lot of time to really sit there and like deal with things that I really kind of like just use school to kind of like glaze over. And I just kind of like realized I was like, okay, have a lot of time. I'm like not super happy. I thought I would be happy when I graduated. I thought I'd be happy when I got a job. I thought I'd be happy. Like, and I didn't feel like fulfilled and I didn't feel like this was like for me 100%. Like I enjoyed
like you said, like I'm kind of doing this to make you guys happy.
Exactly. And I still love it. Like it's totally like I love it. That's why I'm still doing it. But it's just something that like I want to take the risk to try to do music and at least say like I tried, and instead of not trying and just like still
hoping like, oh god damn,
and
what
just
if,
wondering,
what
if? Exactly. So I just decided to like take the risk because my boyfriend, he really pushed me. And then also too, it was kind of like, I don't want to be like, oh, it's like a sign, but I had like gotten an my neighbor, he basically crashed into my car. He ended up being a producer.
Were you in it?
No. It was parked. He just backed into my car.
It wasn't nothing like, wow. It was just like kind of bump.
It was enough to like damage my door and like, yeah. But it ended up like when my boyfriend took over the paperwork to like, have him sign that he paid for it. Everything was like good. We're not going to go through insurance. He ended up being a producer. He saw that. And my boyfriend was like, "Oh, my girlfriend, she sings." And I was always like super shy and like, cause I was super like insecure. I was like, no, I don't want to show anybody. I don't want to like tell anybody. Like,
So when you sung, it was like really only your boyfriend or like close people you
yeah,
even knew?
I mean, aside from like being forced to in high school performances, like I would, sometimes I would make videos here and there, but I would get like just discouraged or like I wasn't confident,
Right.
so I just didn't think I was good,
Right.
know. And then I was just like, you know what, like people are telling me I'm good, like maybe I should like trust that and like trust myself because I've always wanted to. I just never really like had enough like security to
Right.
do that. So
what has given you that confidence now that you like kind of felt you didn't have before? Now it's like, okay, no, I know I can do that.
Really, I guess like just like seeing the progression of like releasing songs and seeing like the feedback that I've gotten and like seeing that people actually don't like think it's like the worst.
Yeah.
So like, it just encourages me. And then even if there are people that aren't like liking my music, it's like I'm not making music for those people. I'm making music for the people that like do like it. And also to like it really doesn't matter because I'm gonna get better anyways. Like
Right.
So all the things that I can still improve on, I'm going to. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty new at this, so I have a lot to improve on.
How long have you been doing it?
I mean, I guess it's not new anymore, but I've been doing it for like a year and a half, almost 2
Oh,
years.
damn.
Yeah.
I would still say that is pretty new.
Yeah, it's pretty new. Aside like actually songwriting, but like
Right.
again, I was singing like in choir and
Right.
stuff in high school.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's been some of the favorite music, like some of your favorite songs you've put out?
Shit. Honestly, I really like Drive and Surreal. Those are like two of my favorite songs.
And what was it that those ones were the hit for you?
I think really the message, like the lyricism, the melodies, and also too like the beats too. Like the beats were pretty fire on those ones.
What would if somebody was to ask you like, what do you categorize? I guess don't put yourself in a box, but what would they say you categorize your music under?
I try to categorize my music under like R&B, pop, like definitely not fully R&B. I would like to like make tracks that are like really, really hardcore R&B, but I still gotta like figure that out and like learn how to do that because it's pretty complicated,
What is your favorite part about when you're making music?
Honestly, just like kind of seeing like the end result or like just seeing the process of like what you're creating. Because honestly, I like kind of go into it like. I do it like sometimes differently, but there are a lot of times where I'll go into a session and just start writing in session to a beat I just kind of like listen to.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh, I wrote a whole song about something I didn't even realize like I could create. And it's just like super odd to me that, because I think that's like, I keep focusing on that because when I was younger, I never viewed myself as creative.
Right.
But now like I'm starting to see like, oh, I am pretty creative.
That there is a creative side to you.
Yeah.
What, again, like what brought out this in you?
Again, like just COVID really like me just
drive like time to sit down and think.
And just like really like what is important to me and like honestly just like I just wanted to do things that made me happy because I've always been like super anxious and like just had like issues with like mental health and like I wanted to just be like happy. So I was like, what makes me happy? How do I get to be happy?
Yeah.
What can I do to make me happy? And so I just started trying to like, use music and like writing as like therapy or like I don't know. I just always wanted to try and always did and just made me happy. So I just kept like doing it. So it's kind of really all it was. It's pretty simple.
And as far as like you kind of touched a little on mental health, what is that something that helps you get like, I guess a better word, like, is that something that helps your mental health?
Yeah, I guess in a way it does because like I listen to my music kind of a lot too, and a lot of the music I write are sometimes based off of my own experiences, but then they're also based on like my other people's like stuff that I've seen like and heard about, so that inspired me. But there's some like truth, to some of like what I've experienced, as far as like who knows what, like it's mystery, right?
Right.
No,
right. They would have to then ask you, was this or this?
Exactly. Yeah, but. I don't know. There's times where I'll like listen to myself. Like there's a song called Nurture that I wrote that honestly it was really like a message for myself. And I like really loved it because I felt like it was kind of something that made me feel better every time I heard it. And then after I would listen to it, I would feel better. So every time like I think about like other people maybe feeling like sad or like down, I think it'd be like a positive song to listen to make you kind of feel better about yourself.
See, that was good right there. That's like something you just did. Like you were making music for basically like you were making for yourself to nurture yourself at some point in time and And that's what it did. And hopefully that's what it could do for other people as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you even putting that song out there to let them know, could definitely go check that out.
Yeah.
What's been some of the hardest like parts to, I guess, this music game?
Like in terms of just like being a music game or like writing and stuff? Even,
I guess, being in the music scene, like having to deal with all different people now.
Honestly, it's been good. Like obviously there's always gonna be some times where you're gonna like run into obstacles or have issues. But as far as like being in the music scene, like I feel like everyone's been pretty cool. Like I haven't really had any problems with anybody, at least from my like knowledge. So yeah, but I haven't really had the chance to really like get super deep into the music scene yet. Again, like I'm still like pretty new, so I'm still trying to get my name out there, and I like try to like network and like meet other artists, and that's kind of what I've been focusing on this year, is like getting like more features and like getting featured on songs and stuff like that.
Are you working with more artists out here in San Diego, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to, definitely trying to set stuff up and do that.
They always say in San Diego, like it's kind of hard for people in San Diego to work together. It's almost like they fighting for the top spot, and it's like it's only one.
Yeah.
Do you get that same kind of vibe? If not, I mean, obviously that's not the vibe that you got, but just from what I heard from a lot of people, and especially with the music industry, it's almost like it's only one spot in San Diego, and so it's almost, instead of reaching for somebody beside you and helping you, they try to reach to the next best thing. Do you always feel like that's the kind of, I guess, persona they have out here in San Diego?
I mean, I really don't have much to like compare to, because I've only lived in San Diego my whole life, and I barely even interact with any other music scenes other than like LA, and I'm like barely getting into LA's music scene, you know? And I have had like, you know, some instances where I have like felt like, you know, tension, or like, you know, people aren't as supportive as you would anticipate they would be, but it is what it is. And like I don't really care to focus on it, because it's like not my beef, you know, not my drama. Like I'll just keep pushing forward, and like if they want to be catty and weird, like then
I'll leave you to it.
That's your deal. Like I'll just keep making music alone until like, you know, I meet connections that are genuine, and like, you know, because I'm not really interested in making like
fake friends.
Yeah, like obviously, you know, music is music, it's business is business, right? Like there's times where like I make music or they make music with people like we don't really care for or whatever. It happens, but that's just like making music at the end of the day. And if people want collaborations, like you have to like please your fans. So like it is what it is. I'm more than happy to like work with other artists, but again, like I haven't had a lot of artists like really reach out to me like crazy that like that, you know. So and it's same as me, like I could do that too, you know, works both ways, right? But I try. It's just,
and like you said, you focus, and like you're still, like you said, you're still new to it, so you're still trying to focus on even bringing yourself up.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find the people, right?
Right, because you don't want to just work with anybody anyway. It's like somebody who you actually would like the project that you're working with.
Yeah, I like to make like more organic, like, you know, like meeting. It's just easier when you like meet people in person, because it's like I can trust you. I can get in studio with you. Like I'm not trying to be in the studio and be like, you know, scared or you know, it's like. You just never know. Like, not saying like people are like that bad. But
no, but like you said, really you just never know.
You never know. And I just don't want to be like caught off guard, you know? So I just try to be like smart about who I'm around, and only really go off of like people telling me they've worked with people. I know like my producers like Archie and Noches, like a lot of the artists that I've really like connected with is through them, or like my videographer Chris, like he always like recommends me people to like me, and they're like a big reason why I've even gotten to like network with people. And same with my friend JR. JR is pretty cool too, and he always introduced me to like pretty much everyone now. So so
it's like now you've low-key like built a team around you.
It's kind of like I feel like I've started to like kind of, that was my goal, like really to build a team first before I started focusing on like networking and stuff, because I wanted to find people that I trusted to make music with. Once I like, you know, figure out my sound, kind of like where I want to be, like how I want to get there. Pick the people that I feel like are good and I can trust them, and we're just like friends actually, like not just like, oh hey, it's just what time studio? Oh, okay, cool. Pull up, got beats, send me beats. Like, you know, I want to be like, hey, how's your day? Like
you said, you wanted organic.
I want to subtweet Archie about fucking Taco Bell. Like, I don't know, just some dumb shit, but you know.
And how did you build that team? How'd you end up finding these people that you have around you now?
Honestly, like I just really had like my first real connection to the music industry was JR, and he like introduced me to like somebody named Kinky, and he's a rapper. I'm sure you've heard of a Kinky. He's really good.
I'm not even gonna lie, I haven't heard of Kinky.
He's really good. You should check him out.
And that's Daygo?
Yeah, he's a Daygo rapper.
Then there we go. I have to.
He's
See,
good.
I don't ever be like, oh hell, I heard it. Like
he's like really funny, and I just met him, and then I went to his video shoot one time, like, and then Chris was the videographer, and I just like I had tried to like connect with other videographers, and they're just kind of like not really like be serious or like kind of like hello tags me. So I was like, okay, I'm good. Like I'm not really trying to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'll just like wait until I find the right opportunity, right person that's like matching the energy, And then I met Chris, and him and Ryan were like super cool, and I just like vibed with them. And I'm like I said, I go based off like the vibe. Like if we're not really vibing, I'm kind of like, okay, whatever.
I'm
like you won't hear from me again. It's fine. Like like I'll gladly stay out the way. Like I'm not even trying to be associated
because it's not your vibe.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to learn that the hard way, Like
I'm sure, and as you have, and I'm sure you continue to do it because you're still learning as you're coming up as an artist anyway. And that kind of made me think about what gave you the idea about that music video you have with them two big ass dogs in there and dude tied up and shit.
Yeah. So that song is basically kind of like about really just like being in a relationship that's toxic as fuck. Like you're just and I wanted to like really illuminate like actual like what really goes on behind like closed doors. Like people are crazy. People fucking hurt each other. People fight each other. People, and people just do crazy shit, and that's just the sad reality. And like I kind of wanted to like show that like people say like they're not like type of mental kind of thing, because in the video have you ever seen Summer Walker's video? Like she has a video basically where she's like kind of like tying up a man, and they're like it's kind of like a similar theme, but hers is like more like
what's the song called?
I can't think about it right now.
Shit, I probably didn't see the video, but know the song.
I think it's Throw It Away. I don't know. I have to like.
Yeah.
I have to go like find.
Yeah,
remember what it was.
Because mix matching all the shit. They're like, oh, that wasn't. Whatever.
Yeah, but she was basic. I really like liked that because it really it just shows like the woman kind of like being
dominant.
Yeah, but I didn't want that to be like the main focus of mine. Mine was more. A little different, kind of like just like inspired by her music video, but I wanted to do like my own take off of it.
Right.
And a real reason, like how it even ended up was like I just saw that video and I was just like, hey Chris, like this is a dope video. I really like this video. I think it matches like the theme of the song where it's kind of showing like, because the song's talking about like, oh, I don't want to be like with this person anymore because playing games or like not even that yet exclusive, just like talking more about playing games and how it's just like a lot of issues and it's toxic. And then in the song I say like, I'll get out of your way, I won't make you stay. But in the video it's like, no, I'm not actually, that's not the truth. You're not going nowhere because you're staying here, you're not leaving me. Like and I just wanted, it was just more like a narrative, like just a story, like not obviously super real or, but like a drama. Like I wanted to make it more artistic and just give it like a story. See,
and that was almost something like your acting side.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean that might be another realm that you might want to pursue as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly what my friend Dom was saying. Like the guy that starred in it, his name is Dom. He's a rapper as well, Dom Royal. And he's somebody that like I feel like comfortable with. So I was like, honestly, like I'm very big on like comfortability. So I was like, I don't want to just like have anybody in it,
right? Because
I'll be awkward, and I kind of need to like. Not seem like I hate, like, if we have to be, like, cute and in each other's face and, like, showing, like, affection to each other. So I was like, oh, no, dude. I was like, can you be in my video? And he's like, yeah. All right, so it was super cool of him to, like, do that for me.
Yeah, I watched the video and I was like, oh, god damn. How do you even have the dogs barking?
So those are my aunt's dogs, actually.
They were huge.
Yeah, so they're trained, like, they're actually one of them is a show dog. So he's kind of like more trained, and the other one's a little crazy, but she just be following whatever he does. So like, I don't know. We were just trying to antagonize him, really, like, like making like clapping, like trying to get them aggravated. But my aunt was like holding them back, or even some of the scenes I was holding them back, and it was like it's pretty hard because they were big as hell.
Hell yeah! When I saw him, and I'm now looking at you, you two dogs you was holding. It was like
it was
damn.
I mean, I felt bad because like dude, they had like the little chains on them. My aunt's like, no, it doesn't hurt. But I was like, bro, I feel bad. They're
Yeah.
choking and shit.
Yeah.
Like, but it was cool. It ended up being cool.
What's some of the new music you got coming up?
I have a couple of things like in the works right now. I'm actually trying to release a song by the end of the month, maybe the beginning of April. But it's called Lavender Kisses. And it's gonna be more like kind of like a little different style, a little slower, like not
Is it more vocals?
More vocals, definitely more vocals. Kind of more like indie kind of vibe.
How does your boyfriend deal with you having like you had to do like the scene with the dude and stuff like that? How does he deal? And then if you in the studio with other people and stuff like that, if you're out late or whatever.
Yeah.
How do y'all keep that balance?
Honestly, like he's pretty good about it. Like that was like the one thing that I talked about with him like very early on when I actually like made the decision to try to like pursue music. And since he was so supportive from the get-go, he was like, I already know, like that's what it is. But he's honestly just really secure with himself, and he trusts me and I trust him, and you know, we just trust each other. And he goes to like everything, so he's always there. You know, and not even on a weird shit, he just like wants to be there.
Support.
He wants to be there, you know. And he comes to my studio sessions. He's friends with Dom, he's friends with Noche, he's friends with Archie, like friends with all of like my everybody I work with. He knows them, and he's there and like making that connection too with them. So it's like, if you know, we're like cool now, so he like trusts that too, and he trusts that we'll all be cool, you know. Obviously, like that's not the intention or anything to be
of
like
course.
weird or anything.
No, not at all. Like you just said, he's coming because he wants to show support.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So kind of like, I mean, I know you said that was kind of like a story with that music video. That story was something kind of you went through, or that was just a story that come like something you know for somebody had went through?
Honestly, I would say that was like kind of like my thing. Pieces of it were, at least most of it, but some lines, you know, not exactly.
Of course.
You know, I ain't fucking getting drunk over a guy and like drowning alcohol because it's not that deep. But like, you know, I've had my fair share of like toxic relationships, and it was just like speaking from experience, you know.
So in a way, I almost feel like musicians use that and turn it into like music, basically, like all the shit that you've been through. Do you feel like that's something that, I mean, obviously nobody wants to go through tough shit, but I mean, obviously life is full of highs and lows. Is that something that you feel helped create your music?
Yeah, I definitely feel like if I didn't experience some of the things in my life, I wouldn't be able to like connect and really write about it. And a lot of my music, like I try to write music that encourages people to like be in a situation that is relatable. Like that song is like, I feel like it's pretty relatable for a lot of people.
Definitely.
And even for guys, like there's guys that have told me that they feel my music and that they like actually like can understand and like see where like they feel like my perspective from it, and as if it was theirs. And I think it's funny because I just never thought that. I actually thought it would be quite the opposite, but it wasn't. So but yeah, I feel like, sorry, I don't know if I answered your question, but
no, definitely, like you did, like you just let me know how you feel about that whole situation. How do you continue to get better with vocals?
So
I always love live performance. So even when I've seen like some of your behind the scenes of a music video that you shot, like you sing, I'm like, I love like somebody singing. Like, how do you continue to get better with vocals?
Honestly, I feel like everyone, maybe with a few like exceptions, but I feel like everyone has like the ability to learn how to sing, and it's like a muscle, so you can always strengthen it. Like basically, like getting in the gym every day, lifting weights. You can do vocal training, do vocal agility, like breathing technique. There's a lot of ways to fix little nuances in the way that you sing. And I'm not perfect. Like I have a lot of things I need to work on. Like people tell me a lot of times that I've been like very pitchy in my live performances. And I mean, I don't blame them. Like,
what does that even mean exactly? What is when they say you're pitchy?
It just kind of means like you're not really like on key. Like you're not on pitch. Like you're singing a note that's like not the right note.
Because saying like you were supposed to go high, but you went low, or
maybe a little lower. You're sharp or you're flat. Like yeah.
So yeah, that's putting me on it. I mean, like, I know what it means, but I didn't know that like for that term.
I mean, I'm not like I don't know, like music theory crazy like that, but just from like the stuff I remember from choir. Yeah, I think that was.
How do you even feel about other people writing your music? Is that something that's like you're okay with? I mean, whatever, or it's like you want to continue just to write your own music?
I'm okay with like I guess a mixture. There's people that have definitely written my music for me, like Luna Caves and Manny Fresco, like have written a lot of the Spanish songs. Anything like Spanish, fully any Spanish. I don't actually speak fluent Spanish, so I need help like writing lyrics. You know, I'll go in and I'll like tell them kind of what I want to say, and they'll like translate it for me and help me with that. And so they'll like, you know, that's like writing credit. So.
Right.
So they've technically written songs for me, and I have another producer, Dom, that sometimes will help me write little lines here and there, and when I'm getting stuck or I'm just like, how do I make this sound better? You know, and I think that's important. I don't think that anyone. I mean, you know, everyone always thinks they're super good and like don't want to like admit that they need help, but you know, there's sometimes that other people can bring creativity to it, and I look at it as like a collaboration. Like I can be the best product. Not by myself, but with the help of like the best people in the room. And if this person's better than me, I have to accept that. And I can take like help, you know, it's okay. Cause I want to make the best product. And if I sound like shit and I have a producer that can help tune my vocals, why wouldn't I want them to help me?
Like, why is this person in the room?
Or if I'm not struggling with if I'm struggling with the harmony and it's just been like taking so long and there's somebody that can help me with it, why am I gonna sit there and pay another hour of studio session? You know, it just, I feel like for me, I'm willing to let go of that pride and just take the help, you know?
Yeah.
Because
a lot of that pride get in the way. It's like, nah, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. And sometimes they might have better ideas. Right. They really might. And that's okay. Like, I'm not anybody, like, you know.
Like you said, you're looking to create the best product.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we all can contribute something. Yeah. You know? And even sometimes my boyfriend will help me write lyrics, you know. I take the help that I can get. As I do try to write, like, keep my songs me. And I'll definitely be like, I don't like the way you said that, you know. Can you rephrase that? Like, I'll definitely take like control over my songs because I've made the mistake of not doing that before and not liking the end result, you know? So it's important to at least keep that balance and make sure that it's still you know? But for the most part, I do write most of my songs. Yeah. Don't want everyone thinking I'm not writing my songs. No,
definitely. Like you said, like there's just some things that you will take and be like, oh yeah, that was good. You put it that way. Oh, I never even thought about that. But for the most, like, you like to write your own stuff. Yeah. That, you know, have you even got into the business side of music? As far as like monetizing on plays and things like that?
I'm kind of like in the process. I haven't quite hit like getting fully monetized at all, but I think I'm still in the works of trying to grow my social media so that I can get monetized and make more off like music and stuff. Eventually, that's the goal. Luckily for me, I'm not in a position where like I have to like worry about music, you know, or sorry, money to like pay for, you know, music, and I can like fund it myself basically. So it's good. That's kind of like why I'm happy I get to work and like pay for what I do myself, you know. But I still want to eventually transition from like not working to that job so that I can fully do music full time. So that's the goal, is to like get monetized. We're not like there yet. Yeah.
Of course. No, and I was only asking because I know like that's something that some people don't even think of in the end, or even have the knowledge to go to the steps of what to take to start to do that. Yeah. So like I was saying, like that's kind of important for you early on to even start even thinking of what you can do to pursue, like push that product. Yeah,
definitely. I'm learning new things every time I release a song. I try something new every time. Or one thing I don't like to do is pay for like paid streams. That's one thing I don't like to do. I've tried it before. It's not recommended from what I hear, and I just personally, it's like it shows in your interactions. It shows.
I'm noticing that shit for real, because it'd be like some people who got like crazy amount of followers, and they post something and didn't nobody look at it or like it or nothing. It's like, but wait, how you got all them damn followers but nobody was liking this shit? So like you said, that paid shit is like it only worked for that paid one, and then when you're not paying, nobody, and then at the end when you're not paying, who the fuck is looking?
Yeah, I think it's important to like grow it organically, at least.
Definitely.
So it's slow and steady for me at this point, and it's probably going to stay that way for a little while until I get like, you know, a lot more, you know, coverage and stuff. But that's the goal. I'm still gonna try. I'm not gonna get discouraged anytime soon. So I'm just gonna keep doing it at my own pace, and just my pace. I'm not competing with anybody.
Exactly.
It's my pace. So
with you, how you were like gaining confidence within your music. How do you take the criticism?
It's hard. It's hard, bro.
Right.
It's hard to get
because like you put out like they always like, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
Yeah.
So like you put your shit out there and like I guess you're not getting that type of reaction that you wanted. How do you now adjust to the criticism?
You just have to honestly develop a thick skin. If it's something that you really, really are passionate about doing, it comes with it. Because you can be the best artist in the world and somebody will still wake up in the morning and be hateful and just shit on you. There's so many artists that are clearly not bad and people wake up in the morning and just choose to hate them and like just be bitter,
Right.
And there's times I had people fucking hating on just like a hairstyle, It's like people talking about my baby edges in my fucking comments. Like, what are you're hateful, bro. You hate women. Like, that's fine.
And it was a guy?
Oh, absolutely. It's always a guy. It's always a guy talking about like stupid shit. Like,
oh, God. See, and I honestly wouldn't have even thought that. Like, for now, you say there's always a guy talking shit. That's like, that's petty.
Exactly. It's like and that's okay. Like, it comes, like, it's hard being like a woman in the music industry. It's hard. But I don't even want to focus on that because it's like we all know it. People want to act like they don't. It's fine. But it's like we just can't really let it like get to us. So we just have to keep working, and just show us like not that important.
And what you just saying that being as hard for women in the music industry, what I guess is the hardest hurdle for you? And then, like you said, this is new for you or that you have even seen just for women, period.
I just think that like honestly, like we're just not really like respected, like we don't get the same like we're just women, like we're just females. We're females. I hate that word, but like that's how men sometimes view like women in the industry, like and it's because they have accessibility, like they're so used to having like a bunch of women at their disposal, like they have strippers, whatever, like, and it's easy for them. So of course they're not gonna value women or like respect them, but some of them do, obviously, like there's a lot of men out there that do,
right?
But I don't know. I feel like it kind of just shows, like, even when you look at like blog posts or like pages, music pages, there's not a lot of women on there. Like,
no, and that's why I love that I'm asking you this, because this is given now the perspective from a woman's perspective and what you actually have to go through. So I'm even glad that you even touched on it.
Yeah. I don't want to like sound all like negative because, everyone's going to be like, oh my God. Like,
no. And for those who are like, oh my gosh, it's like, what's the oh my gosh about?
Yeah.
She telling you about experiences that she's experienced or that she's seen other people go through. So honestly, for those who are saying it don't even matter.
Yeah. I feel, but it just like obviously it's like it's men that are in the industry. I don't know any women producers. Like I haven't met a single one.
I'm gonna have to find one.
I have not met a single one in San Diego. Like
that's funny.
I don't know one, and like it's at least not one in a studio. Like except Luna, or well, she's like non-binary, so technically that doesn't count. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's them times. Yeah, so
but yeah, it's like, but you know what I mean? Like as far as like cisgendered women, like. No.
Damn. See, no, that was good because I wasn't even thinking about it. That's why I asked, like, what is like the hardest hurdle for you?
But I know there are. I just haven't like yet met them, right? Of course, I just need to get out there, and I'm not. My like scope is a little bit like biased because I'm like I haven't been in the music industry like all that long and met every single person in the industry. I've only met a like select group of people, so it's not. It's biased,
Right. See, but like we've only talking about what you have experienced, so all you can talk about is what you experienced.
That's true.
That is what you have went through and seen others go through.
Yeah. It's just like I don't even want to like talk negatively. It's not even worth it, but like there's just definitely like I've from my own experience, I've noticed that like there's definitely like a lack of respect. Like guys just don't respect women the same way that they respect men. But that's like everywhere, you know. So
so that's like, and I think is this like Women's History Month?
Oh yeah, you know what? Actually,
that's why I touched on. I'm like, yo, that's why she had to touch on that. So I'm glad that you even did that shit. Like no real shit, because like you said, like that's more and more women doing stuff is going to obviously, hopefully, push the realm of respect higher and higher. Yeah. That's the goal as you continue to get out there and do more and more, I mean, that's the goal for it to get to that at some point. I mean, obviously it's been this long and women been around for how long and we still at this shit. So, I mean, yeah, it's a struggle. Have to get through it, but that's where we're at now.
Yeah. It's important.
Yeah. Did you grow up with siblings?
I did.
And you are on there? I'm the middle child, technically. See, and they always say something about how is it for you being the middle? For the middle child, they say either the oldest got the most love and the youngest, because they're the youngest, so they got to keep on. So the middle kind of fell to the wayside. Is that the same experience for you?
Honestly, I don't know. It's a little difficult because I think my family, like we all kind of know like who the favorites were. Mm-hmm. So.
And what you feeling that? Did that make you, like, growing up, did that make you feel some type of way?
It made me feel bad for my brothers because I was the favorite.
Oh, yeah.
But like I felt bad because I was like, damn, like, they're definitely getting treated worse, but again, that was from my dad's angle. I was not my mom's favorite, but I love my mom, I don't want to talk about my mom like negatively.
No worries.
She definitely favored my brother, though. Like, mommy's boy, daddy's girl type shit. Right. That was going on for sure.
Well, at least you had both parents in there so that y'all kind of could, and it wasn't only on one side, really, for you.
Yeah. My dad, actually, he passed away when I was, like, 16. But my parents divorced when I was, like, 12. And he was, like, kind of was not around. So, like, I kind of did have him, and then I didn't. So it was weird, It's, like, a weird, because it was, like, right in the middle of, like, my like adolescent or like my teenage years, I guess.
So and then, like you just said, like with that happening, how were you even able to get through that?
Honestly,
and come out like stronger on the other side. I mean, obviously you do have an option as you can just crumble and fucking just not do shit for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Or you can be better. How? Because I can't even imagine like my mom or some like really close to me passing away. So I kind of asked for kind of like forecoming, like obviously everybody's gonna pass, so how was it that you were able to become out strong on the other
end? So I think like when it happened, I guess like I felt like very much like I needed to be like the strong one for my family.
Oh wow.
So
and you have two brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my older brother is much older than me. He's like 8 years older than me.
Okay.
So like he was already moved out of the house. And so I'm kind of, it was a little like, I have like a weird like background, I guess, but it was like, I kind of felt like the oldest sibling sometimes because like my older brother was so much older than me. So like he was 8 years older than me. By the time I was 8, he was already like moving out, like, so from 8 years old, I'm like just taking care of my little brother.
Right.
So I kind of felt like I was like a little bit like older sibling kind of vibe,
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, my older brother wasn't always like super stable, and he kind of like was in and out of, just not really around. And my little brother, I felt like I needed to like be a role model.
So you had to do that.
Yeah. And I just felt like I needed to like keep him, like obviously if I start crumbling, like what about him? What's going to happen to him,
And that's sometimes even harder for you. I have to now be strong for my little brother and myself.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I definitely need to be strong for myself.
Right.
Yeah, that's not good. But like I had to be strong, and my mom was like, she was not like always super like attentive. So like she just wasn't able to be like,
That's what I'm saying. Like that with you have not the best relationship with your mom. How and what you 16?
Yeah.
You're at 16 having to now take on this. I don't want to say burden, but this big thing you got to take on for you and basically your family.
Yeah. I just kind of chose to like, I don't know. I just kind of, instead of, I guess, letting it like affect me, I chose to kind of like not, because I guess for me, when my dad had left the first time, I was more sad than when he left the second time. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Because I got used to him being gone. So when he came back the second time, I was kind of like, okay, well, I've already lived a life without you.
Right.
I already know. I never thought I was going to see him again. So I was like.
You already low key like, I cut that off.
Yeah, like
once you
that
left,
numbness or like that emotional numbness, like I had that. And so like it was a little bit, I'm not saying it was right. And like that's why I've like done my thinking and like try to heal and stuff and like just make sure I've like taken care of that. But that's what COVID helped with. Because again, like I think I use school a lot and like sports a lot to like just kind of like not think about it much or use other like I don't want to get like all like like therapeutic or whatever.
No,
but like
and this like when you have I see like when you are about to get into something, you start thinking yourself like, I don't want them to start thinking like that's not like you keep running with that because like you like even when you were saying like some of your songs, you never know who you're helping.
Yeah, you're right. I guess.
When you end up talking about your story, because that's what I feel a lot of people. Once this actually starts catching on, people get that from people's stories. Like I went through that same thing. So for you to like stop thinking, like, oh, I don't want to get. I mean, unless you're just uncomfortable and you don't want to do it.
No, it's not even that.
Because I don't ever push the envelope. If it's like that's no, then that's not it.
Yeah, no, it's not that. I guess it's just like, I guess I was scared of being like vulnerable, so I like kind of just, and this is me just like going to therapy, self-assessing, like just kind of making sure I know what was happening. But I kind of used school as like an outlet. Just did good in school. Like I got a 4.0. I got over a 4.0 the semester my dad passed away, which is fucked up, right? Like it's like why didn't I like have that emotional reaction, you know? Because I just was like numb. Like I didn't I didn't have like the reaction that everyone else around me was so like fucking destroyed over it, because it was a pretty bad like scenario, and like but it was just like I kind of had to step up. I was the only one that could, and because I was the favorite, like I kind of felt like, you know, I need to be like strong, because if I crumble right now, like everyone else is gonna crumble. Like, and maybe it was my own burden I took on, but I just felt like I had to at the time, you know.
Right.
So I don't know. I just kind of like just chose to like focus on like the positive. Like, what can I do with school? What can get me out of this? Like, what can get me out of this pattern? Like, how do I get out of like making money? I wasn't ever like poor, but I was raised by a single mother basically, and she wasn't always like, you know, able to do it all by herself. And I had to like help, you know, from a really young age and like help support her. So I had to take on like the burden of like working very, very hard from a really young age and just like doing that, you know.
At the end of the day, with you then having how you took on all the burdens and working hard at such a young age, do you feel like that better prepared you, or kind of then in the end you had a lot to deal with as an adult?
I think that it did better prepare me, but I did have to grow up very fast.
Right.
And I think I was always very mature for my age, but I was a little bit like growing up, you know, a little angry that had to happen.
Right.
And I just feel like it's not worth it to be angry about things like you can't control.
Exactly.
So I just decided that, you know what, I'm not going to be angry about this hand that I've been dealt and not let it destroy like my future.
Right.
So I just looked to the future and just focused on like the goals that I had.
Yeah.
And college was a good way to distract yourself.
I'm sure there was a lot of things that could distract you in college.
And yeah, so that's why like I kind of mentioned like, you know, COVID, like that was the first time I was alone at home with my mom, and I was like, yo, like this is hard.
like I don't know, this is harder than school.
Like, and I don't know, I just had to deal. I think I kind of just buried a lot of emotions from like my younger life and just didn't really think about them much, or didn't really like let them. I just thought I like maybe didn't feel them, and then I did, you know.
Yeah.
I was like so confused. I was like, why do I feel like so not good, you know?
Were you able to come to your mom and like tell her like, Mom, like I've been feeling this way for X amount of time, and this is how I've been feeling, and y'all was able to kind of connect on that?
We like I said, we had like a really hard time. We fought a lot, you know, but I feel like right now at this time we're in a good place to where like we can comfortably talk about those things. But when I was younger, you know, like she would definitely not like it. And it wasn't always easy to like bring up things because she didn't always want to hear it, you know.
Right.
She didn't want to like have her kid nagging at her, telling her how to act, what to do, what she should do, how she should raise me. And it's like, I get it. I totally get it, you know, because she had to grow up young too. And that's just a reason why I had to. Like, it's just a cycle. And I didn't want to continue doing that anymore. Like, I don't want that same future for my kids. That's why I choose to like go get therapy. That's why I choose to like pursue what I want to do. I don't want to like keep this like this old
repetitive cycle.
repetitive cycle,
Of
like
just the bullshit of less. I mean, I'm gonna be mad and don't tell me about what I done wrong, and you can't. It's like no, like you just said, like I have to tell you, this is what I feel, and this is what I'm feeling now.
exactly.
This is what created from me not talking about this shit forever and shit like that. So you trying to break that cycle.
Exactly, yeah.
How does your mom react to your music now?
She loves it.
Mhm.
Now she loves it.
Yeah.
But, in the beginning, she always loved it. She always liked it. But again, she was just scared. She'd
Mhm.
I don't want you to just run off to LA and start a music career and
Mhm.
just, not have a job
Yeah.
and go hungry and starve on the streets.
No, that's good that you could even now look back, because like you said, you could look back to now where you came from with your mom and where you guys are now. You're able to have a conversation and things like that. So that's a big step that you even able to get through.
Yeah.
So you are breaking that cycle.
Yeah, yeah. And she's, again, she's had to change and mature a lot too.
Right.
It's taken effort on both ends. And it wasn't always easy, but it ends up, there's hope. But again, if I'm not saying you have to accept everything that you're
Definitely
dealt with.
not.
If you don't want to accept that, that's you. You're totally allowed to not want to have contact with your family if you don't want to, I just chose to forgive, because I only have my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy having no support system,
Definitely
so.
not. Definitely like you just said,
it.
I just grew up with my mom my whole life.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're talking about. I got cousins and things like that, but like you said, I only grew up with my moms.
I have cousins and I have an aunt and uncle and cousins that are my family, and I love them and I will do anything for them. But again, it's at the end of the day, I have to take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need to do that. Just put myself first.
Mm-hmm. That's a good message to even get. I feel that's a good closer, right? It really is you have to really take care of yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you no way in shape or form won't be able to take care of anybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
So this has been another episode of the BiGG Umbrella Podcast. I'm going to repeat that. That's big with 2 G's, the BiGG Umbrella Podcast, and it's a wrap. Well, let's get some tacos, nigga. Can we really get some tacos? You trying to get some tacos? Let's get some tacos, nigga.